In this video, we're going to take a look at extruding along a curve. So we've done a lot of different bridge-like structures down here for our bars, but now we want to add some extra detail and some decoration to the top of our fence here. So I'm going to switch over to my front view, and let's go to shaded. We'll hit 5 on the keyboard. And I'm going to add that detail inside of here. And we're going to start by creating a curve, and that curve will give us the shape of that detail that we want to put in here. So I'm going to go to Create, and we'll grab the CV Curve tool. I'm going to open those tool options just to make sure that I'm on Cubic. All right, we'll close that up, and I'm going to draw out kind of an S-like shape here. We'll just start right here, and click, and go through to create that. And we don't have to make this perfect. If we mess up on any of these points, we can always adjust them after, which I think we probably will. So I have my basic curve there. I'll hit Enter to complete the curve. And I'm going to alter that shape a little bit. That didn't quite come out so rounded. And I'm going to right mouse click, go to Control Vertex, and we'll just kind of shape these a little bit better. And we'll just kind of push those down a little bit there. Maybe move these over. All right, something like that will be fine. There we go. All right, so now I have my curve established. And we'll go back to object mode here and just select that curve. And then I'll choose Create, Polygon Primitives, and I'm going to bring up a cube. Now that cube is created out there in the center of my world. Instead of zooming out and finding it, I'm going to snap it to this curve. So I'm going to hold C, which will activate my snap to curve. And then I will middle mouse on my curve and drag. And this will bring that cube up from wherever it is and pop it to my curve. And I can drag it anywhere along that curve. And I just want to bring it right up to the top there. Let's switch over and go into a perspective view here. And we want to align this cube. So I'm just going to scale it. We'll make it a little bit smaller. And I would rotate it as well so that it is going in the direction of my curve. But by default, it kind of worked out. It is going in the direction of the curve. You can see it's kind of got a straight line in the curve coming down and then going off. So I really don't need to rotate it, but that is something that we would want to take a look and make sure. So if I had my cube over here, we would rotate it so that it was perpendicular to that curve. All right, so that's going to work for us. And now I'm going to select the face, and we'll click on the bottom face there, the one that is facing the curve itself. And let's switch back over to our polygons menu set. And we'll go to Edit Mesh, and I'm going to choose Extrude, and we're going to open those tool options. I'm not going to modify anything here, but I did want to show that by default, and we'll go ahead and hit Reset Settings, by default, Curve is already chosen. It's already selected. So whenever we do an extrusion, it's already established to extrude along a curve. Now, if there's no curve present and we don't select one, then it will do a normal extrusion. So we'll select our curve and we'll hit Extrude. That'll close that up. Now I don't really see anything happening here yet because we need to add some divisions. So I'm going to middle mouse and increase those divisions. And it's looking a little strange here at first, but then as we get up there in higher numbers, it starts to look a little bit more proper. But I am getting some sort of error right here. The geometry is looking a little awkward. I'll address that in a second, but first I think we'll add a few more extra divisions here because our slider caps out there at 25. So in the channel box, we'll just find that division there and let's change that to 50. There, now we get a nice smooth extrusion along that curve. I have this break right here. What's happening is that when I drew the curve, I started at this end. So this is the start of the curve. Therefore, this over here is the end of the curve. I'm doing my extrusion from the end back to the start. And so what's happening is that the geometry is immediately flying to the start of the curve and then extruding all the way through back to the original surface. That's why I have this small extrusion extending between these two. I don't need to undo. This is actually a fairly easy fix. We're just going to go into object mode, and I'll click off of that. All we need to do is reverse the curve. So we'll tell this curve here that, hey, this isn't the start anymore. This is the start. To do this, we're going to switch to the Surfaces menu set, go to Edit Curves, and we'll just choose Reverse Curve Direction. Boom, and that takes care of our little problem there. Now, a couple of other things I see here is that our decor is actually penetrating through our geometry. So we're going to alter that curve. We'll switch back to our front view, and we'll go to a wireframe, and I will hit F8 to go into component selection. And we'll expand our components here, and I'm going to grab control vertices. And then we can make adjustments, we'll hit W, to that curve, and it will also, through the history, adjust our extrusion. So you can see here we get many opportunities to fix the objects that we build with a curve. And we can shape this up here and prevent it from penetrating there. And so that's going to look a lot better. So I'm going to go back to object mode, and we'll select that geometry there. And let's open up the attribute editor, and I'll go to Poly Extrude Face. And let's add some twist to this as well. We can twist it like that. We're just going to type in a value that'll help match the decor that we have down there with the rest of our geometry. Now we could also modify that taper. We could reduce how that affects there. I'm going to leave that at 1, but the overall size I think is a little off, but we could affect it here with our keys. But notice that this will not alter that original cube. That original cube there that we started with is going to stay that same size. Now, I could, let's just flatline this. Let's just keep this at about 0.5. So, but what I could do is go into this geometry itself just on that cube part, and we can scale that down to match. But because that cube is not actually part of the extrusion, none of those history changes will affect it. And now we got a fence that's looking a bit more fancy.